more breaking news meanwhile coming in. The Israeli military has expanded its ground operations across the Gaza Strip. This comes after Hamas fired rockets at central Israel for the first time in months in what looked increasingly like a slide back towards a full-scale war. Israeli soldiers began raiding part of the city of Rafah in southern Gaza. There were no reports of casualties from Hamas rockets which were fired at the coastal city of Tel Aviv. The escalation in hostilities comes after a 2-month ceasefire in Gaza collapsed this week with the deadly Israeli aerial bombardment of the territory. Israel argued that the truce could not continue unless Hamas released more hostages still held in Gaza, while Hamas accused Israel of violating the ceasefire agreement. Aditya Vadavan is joining us for more on this story. Aditya, what's the latest you can share with us from on ground in Gaza?
The SSC, the Israeli Defense Forces have stepped up their attacks against Hamas, and they have been able to found out many more the Hamas the centers of Hamas, where they have been hiding, and they have been since last night. There have been reports that many militants also have been killed in the precision strikes by the Israeli Defense Forces, and they will continue to do so. Some of the hideouts have been identified, that the Hamas was secretly operating from them, but now it needs to be seen from here on how much more time will the Israeli Defense Forces take to neutralize all the Hamas fighters, because they've been very clear now, because Hamas has failed to so fulfill the conditions of the ceasefire that were given to them, and they haven't still after so many months also they haven't released all the Israeli hostages. And United States of America, be it US President Donald Trump or be it the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also been consistently saying that if Hamas doesn't release all the Israeli hostages in a time-bound manner, all hell will break loose. So now it is up to Hamas, in how much time are they willing to release all the Israeli hostages. Otherwise, the Israeli defense forces are on full alert and are continuing to operate in and around Gaza, and pounding bombs on the hideouts of Hamas in and around Gaza Strip. Yes, Sudhir.
Colonel Jay Sodi is also with us, a defense expert. Colonel Sodi, where do you see the conflict now headed in Gaza? Which direction is the new offensive now taking?
Uday, right from beginning, the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu didn't want the ceasefire, but he was pressurized by the American administration, and against his will, he went in for the ceasefire, because he knows that in case there's a long-lasting ceasefire and peace in the Middle East, he'll have to step down from power because majority of the Israeli citizens are against him. And the second reason is that he's facing corruption charges for which the court hearings have started, and he knows the moment he steps down as the Prime Minister, he'll have to go to prison. So for these two reasons, he was not wanting the ceasefire, but still it went ahead, and at the first possible opportunity, he has broken the ceasefire because he knows that the longer the war takes, the longer he'll remain in power and he'll remain out of prison. So it is basically for the vested political and the personal interest of the Israeli Prime Minister that this war is not ending and the ceasefire is not continuing. Well, as far as the war proceeding is concerned, definitely Israel now will go all out. It will cause more mayhem and destruction. And now the Hamas will also start retaliating. In fact, last night the Hamas has attacked the central districts of Israel, and thus once again a full-fledged war between Israel and Hamas has started.
My thanks to Colonel Sodi for joining us with your perspective. Also thanks to Aditya who joined us earlier. It's time for a short break on that note.